button and it wasn't counting down, and so I wasn't real sure what was going on. It says that we're live on the YouTube page, and we're live on your more
Are we live on the More Expo page?
on the Facebook page. That's what it says. So, do you want to
Can't
check
believe
out your?
anything that you see on the
Do
internet.
you want to go check out more just to make
Yeah.
sure? I am getting a notification that we're live on the YouTube channel for Overland Radio.
No, I'm totally gonna go check it out. I don't believe anything I see on the
Okay.
internet.
Yeah, Lee was supposed to make sure that we were good to go. Hey, everybody. While he's checking that out, it's been a while. I'm happy to be back. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. I was in Alaska for a couple years, and my daughter is going to be a freshman in high school, and she's going to be in band and not going to be able to come see me. So I'm back down here, back in Oklahoma. Um, First stop that I made, other than watching my daughter have a jazz band competition, was to go to the More Expo. And for my first guest, it just makes sense to have Chris with us. We got Chris Holloway with us. More Expo, Big Iron, and probably a few other things. I've been gone for a little bit, and he's always looking for more. So anyway, hey Chris, I'm glad that you're on. You and Lee are probably the two people that have done the most for me with All Over Overland. I appreciate both of you. Um, Ever since the More Expo started 5 years ago, you've always been open arms and hey, come check this out, come cover it, all that kind of stuff, and I really do appreciate everything that you've done for me. With that said, though, 5 years. Does it feel like 5 years?
More Expo is six, baby.
6 years? I thought this was the fifth year.
6 years for More Expo.
No, it's going to be 5 years for Big Iron.
5 years for Big Iron Overland Rally.
That's right. See, I got those backwards. So this was 6 years. So 6 years are in the books for the More Expo.
Isn't that wild?
That is crazy. I mean, I remember the first day. The first, like before the gates opened, you came running by because we didn't know. I mean, we really didn't know if anybody was going to come.
I know.
We had no clue. And there was a line not only out the door, but kind of like wrapped around the parking lot, waiting like 30 minutes to an hour before the doors even opened. It was crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, everything was just betting on a come on that, and I remember I was in the back, like right before, maybe 30 minutes before the doors were supposed to open, and I was chatting with Arnie Pinto from Go Treads,
Yeah.
and him and I were both like, I hope some people show up. Because we didn't pre-sell tickets back then, so I had no idea.
That's
Uh,
right. That's right. We
yeah,
ran out of
there's
ATM like 4 times or something crazy.
when you don't pre-sell tickets, you have no idea. So
Yeah.
Megan was and has always worked the ticket booth. My wife. So I remember she came back and grabbed me. It was very small back then, so you could find
Yeah.
me really
We
easily.
were only in one side because
Yeah,
they had the archery, like the school archery tournament in the, what is that? The West Hall?
yeah,
East Hall.
East
East Hall.
Hall. Yeah, so Megan came back and grabbed me almost by my shirt and drug me away from Arnie, and she's like, "You have to see this," and drug me up in that entire lobby, like where the information desk is this year, where Brandon stands. That's where we used to take tickets out of a cigar box, just
Yeah.
um, and that whole entire hallway was completely full. And then she's like, "But look outside." And I looked outside, and the line was like uh, 100 yards maybe out, and people were still parking and coming in. It was absolutely bonkers. Like, so I managed the RV show and the boat show there in Springfield.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it for either one of those, and
Well,
I've been working on those shows for 6 years.
and what's crazy, and in this 6 years, you've gone from the West Hall only,
Hmm.
really, like only the West Hall, to now it's the entire total park.
Yeah, so
I mean,
from
it's pretty much it's almost everything they have.
34,000 square feet to 72 acres.
Yeah, yeah. Camping, outdoor area, all
Yeah,
the stuff.
I
Parties.
I don't know how to extrapolate that, how many square feet are in an acre, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. We don't need to
we don't do
do all
math.
that. Yeah, we
No.
don't need to do all that. And
But
each year, obviously, you've got new vendors. You've got some old vendors. I know that you've got vendors that have been with you the whole time.
yeah,
How
Arnie,
many?
Go
How
Trades is
many?
one of them.
Yeah, how many? Go Treads. Yeah, great example. How many different vendors do you know off the top of your head? Do you have that been with you that whole 6 years?
Let's see. Go Treads, Action Tracks, our boy Overland Addict.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think Stop and Go Tire Repair, Axle Boy out of St. Louis,
Okay. Really?
Adventure Motors. Adventure Motors came in. This is funny. Still, nobody knows. I remember when I went over to Michael's shop when he was still in Lee Summit. Like,
Oh yeah.
hey, I have this idea. What do you think? He's like, yeah, I don't know. We've seen people try.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Whatever, dude.
yeah, I guess. Um, so not a whole lot of faith and belief, which is okay. I totally get it.
I mean, let's
But
face it. When I met you, what did you sold? You were selling forklifts,
yeah,
and I met you at the campsite, so I knew campsite Chris, and I was like, "You're gonna do what?"
yeah.
Okay, dude. What? I'll show up. Fine,
So
I'll show up.
yeah, that was a good Michael from Adventure Motors. Uh, it was last minute. It was morning of. Yeah, it was morning of, and it was somebody wrecked a vehicle on the way there or something like that, and couldn't attend. One of the vendors,
Huh?
like, yeah, I hate empty space. I'm like, how do I fill this up? There's only one person local that I know that's not on the bill, uh, Michael Fuller. So I called Michael. I'm like, dude, he was selling Opus trailers at the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have an Opus trailer. Get your butt down here. The entire thing, like, we're sold out, but I have this one space. He's like, you sold that. He couldn't believe that I sold the
Yeah.
whole all out. Like, I did. Yeah, get down here. Oh man, is there anybody gonna show up? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. But I think so. I don't know. Come in. And he was like, all right. So they're 2 hours and 20 minutes away. He's like, I just need like 40 minutes. I'm gonna figure something out, hook a truck up to a trailer, and I'll be there in 3 hours. So
Yeah.
that was like 7 a.m. And he got there. I think he got there at like 9:30 or 10 in the morning. We opened the door, pulled him in, shoved that trailer in. He inflated the Opus, and then they sold a boatload of Opus campers, like
Yeah.
4 or 5 of them, which is a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. That would be a lot at a show for sure.
it's a whole lot. It's remarkable,
Especially
actually.
when he wasn't even sure people were going to show up.
So yeah, and you know what's crazy about it? I know that's the best part. Is I can go like, I told you.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about it is, now we have trailer manufacturers, like many of them, that are selling 65 to $130,000 campers, and they're selling like
And
uh,
I know
5 or 6 of
from
them all
yeah,
every
yeah, I
time.
know a few that Lee knows and is friends with. We're talking about we went up and talked to him a couple different times, and by the end, I think they both had at least 4 to 6 trailers that were like deposits made, like ready to be like on the books to be built.
Yeah,
From there at the expo, which has always been one of the things that I love about your show, about your event, is that it really is a buyer show. Um, it's maybe it's so close to tax season when everybody gets their money.
yeah,
People are just ready to spend. It's early enough before the season gets really, really geared up. Spring's kind of working its way, so people are getting the juices. People are ready to spend money, and companies come there, vendors come there with the amount of stuff to sell because you don't get that at other events.
Not really.
It's usually show off my new thing that is coming out in 6 months. You put a
It,
deposit down.
it's that is a hard item when I'm talking to vendors about coming in. It's tricky to get them to believe that
Yeah. Bring
message.
a whole trailer.
Yeah, so the we're starting to see now we have global vendors that come in from around the world, but as far as the United States goes, the guys that are coming in from Washington and Oregon, like Onward Supply, those guys, it's a super long drive.
Yeah.
It's also expensive to ship freight, and then they don't. We're still new, so they don't know. And you hear one thing, you never know. It's still a dice roll if you're going to sell anything. It depends on how awesome your product is,
Well, you're not new here in the Midwest. You may be new, fairly new on the West Coast, but I think you probably have way more credibility than you probably realize.
I
But it is a risk for I think some companies could see it as a risk to come all this way and have to turn around and go back.
totally, and I get it. That's every dollar in a business counts, and every minute that you spend away from your shop double counts.
Yeah.
When I'm out of the office, it hurts. If I'm out 2 days, it feels like I was gone 5 days. So,
Hmm.
um,
But it's
I,
definitely, I say that with, it's definitely a show that I think vendors benefit from.
the
I
nice thing is
remember, I
once they come
remember
and
a
they
few years ago, um, Devos had to have like two separate shipments sent in because they kept selling out the lights.
yeah, midnight run to Kansas City to go pick up a
Yeah,
overnight pallet that
yeah,
was freighted in. People
yeah.
get mad when they come up to Devos and they don't have anything left.
Right, right, and that's still you still see those boxes, flying around.
Oh yeah.
Lee sells them with his thing, and of course they were there selling them also. So you had at least two, maybe even three different places that were selling lights, which is fine because everybody was making money. Everybody was selling. Every booth had people in it.
I think that I think the things that I saw carried out most this year. Now, my head is everywhere, so I could be missing some things, but
Dude, it's so
uh,
hard to see whenever you're that involved.
the top three that I could tell being carried out were Devos lights, 23 chairs. They sold like a
Yeah,
hundred chairs.
they're good
It
chairs.
was like comically, it was a wild number of chairs. And
Yeah,
then the Iceco refrigerators,
yeah,
and I saw a ton of Garmin bags walking out. So,
gotcha.
Garmin sells through Overland Addict.
Hmm.
They've done well historically, but I think those are the main things that I noticed with complete tunnel vision on everything else. But
Gotcha. Yeah, I got sucked into having to help Lee quite a bit, so I didn't even get to walk around near as much, but I did walk away with a dry fox blanket or towel.
nice.
So pretty excited about that. Uh, I thought it was a great show. I hadn't been in the last couple of years being in Alaska. Um, I thought the outdoor area was really, really well put together. I think the first year that we did it, it was a little bit like nobody knew or people were getting outside of their boxes and it was kind of a little bit of a mess to figure the lanes out. But dude, I thought everything was just so well run this year.
Thank you. This is the first year that we actually kind of really truly dialed in the outdoor floor plan.
It was perfect. It seemed like you were inside just, I mean, like it had that kind of pattern to it. People stayed within their spots.
Mm-hmm.
The aisles were wide enough that you could clearly see that this is one I'm supposed to go down.
Yeah.
I think that would, for me, that was kind of the issue in the past. Everything was fine, but it was just, it felt like it was the outside area kind of afterthought. Like
So,
you're outside. Sorry, buddy.
so the, behind the scenes here, the outdoor floor plan is originally hand drawn. I go out with a rolling measure. I mean, it's should be accurate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then the next year, it's like, oh, where did we go wrong? Like, I'm trying to figure it out, and I make a couple changes. So that we've been using that layout. This is the third year. So last year it was a little bit better, and then this year, my business partner on the power sports side, Jason Phelps, he's actively using CAD.
Oh, really?
Like, dude, all right, here's the measurements, and I
Yeah.
need 10-foot aisles. Can
Yeah.
you make this on CAD? And he's like, yeah.
2 seconds later.
Sets it out. And he's like, here's your problem. This is technically a 45-foot aisle if you do it like this. I'm like, what? Yeah. He's like, if everything's laid out perfectly in 10-foot aisles, that would make this a 49.5-foot aisle. And it's the one on the east side over by the 20 by 30s, like
Okay.
Rough Country and all those guys down there.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
So if it was actually drawn out or laid out the way I had it, then that aisle would be 49 feet wide. And it's like, okay. So then we put the cattle guard around because there's that was for a couple reasons. It was Rhino's idea. I love it. It makes you kind of feel not so like out in the open. It's like here it clearly defines.
Well,
the
you're not
outdoor
wandering to
area.
somebody's vehicle thinking that's part of the show.
Totally. Yeah.
That's like parked.
Yeah. The vendor parking area. Because
Someone's out there eating out of the back of their truck, and someone's like walking up trying to buy them.
What do you sell?
Yeah.
You got
Totally.
So that was one reason. The other reason is because there's nothing in that parking lot that is square to measure off of
Yeah.
at all.
It's a weird shape.
No, the buildings are like this.
Uh-huh.
So the front of the east and west on the north side, building to building, was like 262 feet. On the back end, it's like 267 feet. So it's never square. The telephone poles are not in line. The parking lines are way off. So
Yeah, there's no point of reference because everything's at a weird angle. So even when you think you're looking at something, you take 5 steps over and it's a totally different angle.
Yep.
It messes your whole brain up.
if you showed up on Monday, you'd see me out there with my headphones in, and I've got the paint sprayer,
Yeah.
and it's a whole lot of me going like this, and then put it down and just walk backwards until I think I'm in the right. It's so bad, but putting it on CAD and putting the cattle guard fence around the outdoor stuff.
And how many vendors did we have this year?
Was it 200? Somewhere between 190 and 200.
And how many did you have that first year?
52. Yeah. Last year, since we had the Power Sports Expo, we had 293.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, collectively,
It was kind of a different crowd.
yeah. So it totally changes that.
Yeah.
Power Sports is moving flat out to Muskogee, Oklahoma, and it looks kick ass.
Right on.
That is the right facility for that place. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, but it's just a wild bit of difference. Oh, check this out.
Hey, what are you drinking?
Modelo.
You don't have some drinkity drink?
I don't have
I've got-
Wolf Moon bourbon.
I've got
Now-
just a little bit. I've just got a little bit left.
I do have a backup beer though, Just-
Okay.
in case things get wild.
Well, there you go. So another question for you is, So on the vendors, and I'm probably gonna talk about the vendors for just a little bit, but on the vendors, so you had a bunch that were several that were from the previous year, or they've been all the years. Who was new this year? You know, I didn't go last year, I didn't go the year before, so I'm not real sure. Did you have anybody that was new, or did you have somebody that maybe was a vendor before that just like wowed you even more this year? So what was either a new vendor or somebody that wowed you that you've had before that just kind of really stuck out this year, like maybe made some big strides in their business or their marketing or something and you noticed it?
No doubt. Tons of new this year. So one thing that happened this year was Easter landed itself in a weird place, and when Easter lands on More Expo weekend, More Expo pushes to the following weekend,
Gotcha.
which will happen like every 4 years. The problem with that is that directly affects uh, Easter Jeep Safari and
All the
Daytona Jeep
other,
Beach.
yeah.
So Easter Jeep Safari ends on the Easter Sunday, and then Jeep Beach doesn't change no matter what. It's always on that that third weekend. So we have several vendors that go to Jeep Beach and have been going there for 15 years. So I think probably about 10 of them. So with those 10 going to Daytona, that opened up a lot of space, and we saw a lot of new faces, which is really cool. There was some new technology in Adventure Tech Pro. If you saw those, it's very similar to like the Garmin Overlander unit.
Okay.
It's their own technology, their own trail systems in there. Um, let's see, having AMSOIL on board this year was cool. Uh, Let me see. I'm going through the vendor list right now.
No, you're good.
Did you see Black Rhino Trailers gave away a trailer and a side by side at the
I
event?
did see that.
That was crazy.
That was really crazy.
I I even told him like, hey, this is like $30,000 worth of stuff that you're just giving away. Are you sure that you want to, And it was, they started selling raffle tickets at 9 a.m. on Friday, and then they gave it away. So your odds on winning
So
that?
wait a minute. Those were just tickets from the More Expo.
Yeah.
They weren't like they've been selling them for a month online
No.
through 5 different channels. It was I didn't realize that. Yeah,
Yeah.
your odds were pretty high.
Your odds were fantastic. If if I wasn't in the position that I'm in, I would
You
have
would have
bought
bought a
like
bunch.
500 bucks worth
Yeah.
of tickets
Yeah.
because you're bound to win something, right?
How much were the tickets?
Like $10.
Okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
and 100% of the proceeds went back to Scouts of America, which is wicked rad. And I think they raised like 10 grand for the Scouts.
nice.
They gave away $30,000 worth of stuff to raise 10 grand for the Scouts, which is wow.
Nice. It's a
But
nice little tax write-off, is what that is.
it was a very, very kind thing to do.
Very kind charitable donation. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Definitely.
Did you see the Jeep or the Power Wheels cars?
I did. I
How cool
did.
is
That
that,
was a
right?
lot of fun. That
Yeah.
was I have an idea what we need to do next year. I think we need to have blow up like um paintball. They have those
Yeah.
big blow up tents that you hide behind and you run to the next one. We should do that but only have Nerf guns. Kids can do it, adults can do it, but have that in an outdoor area, kind of like you did with the Hot Wheels.
Yeah. I dig it.
I think that would be a blast. Kids could do it. They could fight their parents. You could even have like we could even do a tournament where you had like different booths at different times had to go in and compete and then have a champion vendor.
Dig it. I wrote it down.
Dude, I think that would
Like,
be, I think that would be a phenomenal idea.
that's fun. Yeah, more as much as we can to make it worth
Yeah,
everybody's money to get in and make sure people are having a good time. I'm all about it.
yeah. Have that little hint of competition and danger.
Yeah,
You got to have
right?
that little bit of mix in there. I mean, Rhino just being there gives that because he's so fucking scary. Um, I walked in. I walked in one morning to go pee, and it was before it was open. And you know me, I've always been the kind that you just walk in, act like you own the place. Usually, people leave you alone.
Right?
But
Okay.
Rhino just saw my back, and he was like, "Hey!" I turned around, and he goes, "Oh, okay."
Okay. So I've got another idea like this. It's not my idea. This is the brilliance of my marketing team,
Okay.
and I love it because they're totally outside the box and thinking of cool stuff. All right. So, do you know what a Broderson crane is? It's
Why
okay.
would I? What is that? Something I should know?
I no. Probably
Okay,
not.
okay. Thanks for making me feel dumb. I
No.
really appreciate you throwing some kind of thing out there that nobody should know, and
Oh
be
no no
like,
no
"Hey, do you
no.
know what this thing is?"
I
Because
mean,
everybody else in the world does.
men know what a Broderson crane is.
Men, no. Okay, all right. Continue.
Okay,
Continue.
so a Broderson crane is a drivable crane. You can drive it from job site to job site. Typically reaches up about 50 feet. It'll lift about 5,000 pounds.
Okay,
Right.
nice.
So what they were saying was, I love this idea. We get like a 40 by 40 area about the size of where the kids' Power Wheels cars were,
Yeah.
and we park this Broderson crane. Then out in the parking lot or in that area, you have a pallet with Toyo tires. You have a pallet with Method wheels. You have a pallet with, CBI or Peak suspension, whatever it may be, or like a circle near them. And then you extend the crane out, and you get one shot to drop the metal ball in, and you win. So it was like, okay, I think those cranes are like so ungodly expensive to rent. It'd be like $5,000 to rent this thing for the 2 days.
Yeah.
So naturally we'd have to charge a couple bucks, but like $20, go for it.
Yeah.
And you jump in this crane.
Like the ball's 16 inches and the hole's 15 inches.
Yeah. Yeah. But you could do like a tire, because say it's a 10-foot ball, but you just drop. If you can drop the ball, you get to move it, and then you got to drop. And if it lands in that tire or whatever it is, then you win that set of tires. Or I don't know.
It's kind of like playing darts. You drop it, you get points. You get 3 drops.
It's
If you bullseye each time, then you get like
it's
something.
Overland.
There's something that could be. Hey, okay. So
Overland
since we're on crazy ideas, I have another one. This one was a bar idea that I kind of have. You take and you get a bar set around. So you have a place in the middle that has sand in it, like a big sandbox, like a big fucking sandbox, dude. And you have your bar around it to where you sit up at the bar, and you have they have these metal remote control earth moving machines, like a dozer, a backhoe, the dump truck, like all the different like yellow big like mining looking equipment.
Yeah.
And you just play with the remote control while you're drinking your beer right there. Do you know how fun, like how cool of it? Like I don't know how to work it into the More Expo. You probably could, but how cool of a bar that would be.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be like the blue collar bar, like you call it something. Give it a cool name.
I've seen like the Caterpillar headquarters has like a meeting space,
Oh, really?
and it's all glass windows, and it's in like an arena, but they're out there just testing equipment. So you're just sitting in this meeting space, like their conference room,
And they're out playing there.
Well,
Tell
there's
us.
like, 300,000-pound excavators just
Yeah,
rolling by and moving stuff and all that. Yeah, that sounds cool.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I think those things are fun. I thought the Power Wheels was a lot of fun. Heard a bunch of scary stories about kids driving into the fence. Not really scary, but people were like, "Yeah, well, was it a woman? Was it a little girl kid? Because doing that whole kind of. It was kind of funny. But you probably had to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We're
that was a lot
working on
of fun. And
trying to
you
get
still
rolling
have.
brakes installed on all of them, so that way we don't have that issue anymore.
Oh, there you are.
Um,
And then I think it's the plastic tires on the concrete. I mean, that's probably what it is more than anything.
yeah.
Um, and you're still doing Storyteller Row. You've got some storytellers still there. You had a guy in the middle that had my favorite rig, which was that old Ram truck.
Cassidy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That truck was pretty. I mean, it was like going back with Grandpa again.
What a nice guy too. Like
Super nice.
he fit the vibe on that truck 100%,
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed having him.
yeah. That
Um,
was pretty nice.
the Yeah, so Storytellers has changed and evolved every year, and that's the way it is. Like, there's no book on how to do this.
Yeah.
It's trial and error. Last year we were like, we'll just let everybody in,
Hmm.
and we probably had like 100 applications, and we let 50 of them in.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
the first year we had a ton of them. The first year that we did the storytellers, which was my last year to go, which would have been 2, 3 years ago.
I think the first year it was 14. I
There was
think,
a shit ton of people.
yeah, and
It
then
was packed.
trying to remember the first time we did it, but 14 and then up to 50. But the thing is, like, once you have any more than 10, 15, it feels pretty diluted, right?
Well, it just feels like a camping area.
Yeah,
Like that, it's too many. That's too many people. I would totally agree. I think the 14 number, somewhere around there, a dozen, is probably the right number because it's enough space that you can kind of differentiate between each group. When it's 50, everybody's packed in like sardines. You don't have room to
yeah.
move. You just have the back or the front of your vehicle, whichever,
You know,
whichever way you're facing the crowd.
we couldn't fit all 50 up front, obviously, so they were all over to the west of the vendor area.
Well,
And it
and
was
camping in the
confusing.
camping area is that better time anyway.
Yeah, totally. So the the cool way that we did it this year was I I wanted to narrow it down to 10.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, but I want to take myself out of it because I have lots of friends that are on storytelling,
Yeah, yeah.
and I want it to be fair. I definitely don't want anybody to think that there's any biased opinion in it. So we decided that, you know, pushing more expo tickets doesn't matter. How big your follower count is doesn't matter. Whether you've got one YouTube video out there or 1,000 doesn't matter.
Hmm.
The only thing that matters, the thing that gets you on Storyteller Row, is how much money were you able to raise for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Oh, okay. Right on.
So everybody that registered, I think we had 30 people firing at it, which that tells you something right there. 100 applications when you didn't have to do anything to get in,
Yeah, yeah,
and then only 30 when it's like, hey, now you got to work for it,
yeah.
which says a lot. And
It
then
does. It really does.
the 10 that were able to earn, and that's the word here, is earn a position on Storyteller Row. They worked their asses off for it.
Hmm.
They shared that link. They each get a dedicated link, and it's a fundraiser, and their friends and family or followers or whoever it is can go donate to the page. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So storytellers this year raised $14,000 for Nick Mick.
No way. That's
Serious,
crazy.
right? That's
Huh.
huge. And the storytellers still, don't get me wrong, like we appreciate when they share when they share the discount code and it gets new people excited about more expo and they buy tickets based on that discount code, we give them anybody that uses that code, we give them a commission on the tickets.
Yeah.
Uh, so like Matt and Kara McClellan, they have a massive following. They've got a very loyal audience and a massive following, um, especially here in the Midwest. And they were able to sell a lot of tickets, and their commission was pretty substantial. And they donated 100% of their commission back to NCMEC.
Nice.
So, I mean, that's where you see, like, all right, we're all human, whether you're, getting a million views on your YouTube page or, you're promoting an event or whatever it may be. But like at the end of the day, let's find something cool to support. So,
Yeah. Something that helps out people that, especially less fortunate or going through that type of situation for sure. Yeah.
the way that we've got the storytellers lined out now seems like the best recipe. Like, it's not a popularity contest. For you, it is. As a storyteller, how many people can you get to kick in $10 on your fundraising fee? But
Yeah.
we saw Amy Marlar absolutely slayed. Like, she's fantastic. She's a great person. She has a lot of good people around her, and she was able to get donations and crush it. So
Yeah.
Cassidy, I think if I remember right, he was in the third position. It went in order of who raised.
Oh, you went in rankings?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I mean, I don't know. I really like the way that was laid out this year.
Yeah.
The people who participated and actually tried and did well, I think appreciated the way that we did that. Those that didn't earn a position, maybe not so much, but we're out of it. It's no popularity there.
It's on them. Yeah. It's how bad you want it. Yeah. Yeah.
So
totally get that. The other cool thing that I liked was unveiling the Forerunner. So Rhino's Forerunner that he worked with, it was at CBI, I guess.
Yeah, Diodes, CBI, Rotopax, MB Court, Red Arc. Now, this isn't my sponsored vehicle, so if I miss somebody, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, totally understand.
I'm
yeah,
thinking,
and this is a 2024, so it was a brand new
25
or 25. Yeah, the new one. Yeah, and it was pretty sweet.
It's gorgeous. So he had it out at Overland Expo West, and every time I walked by that thing, man, there was a sea of people checking it out.
Yeah,
so, yeah, he just builds the best stuff. I love it. I cannot believe that his Land Rover hasn't sold yet.
Yeah, that's crazy because knowing him, of course, I mean, I think people are like, well, it's a Land Rover.
But it's a Rhino built.
But it's a Rhino built. Yeah, it's a Rhino. That's my point. It's a Rhino built Land Rover. The
majority of issues that you're going to have with Land Rovers and difficult things to work on are wiring harness, right? So it's not a Land Rover wiring harness. It's a Rhino wiring harness.
How many Land Rovers have you seen with the dash totally removed so they can get to all the wire?
I had one.
Well, you had that white one. Was it white? I can't remember.
Or it was a 96. Gotcha. So that was back when More Expo was really first getting going. But the guys from Re-Rover in Springfield always busted me for having a Jeep.
Yes, they were.
Those guys always threw the best parties. Like their campouts were so much fun, and I'm like, Jeff, Chris, like I really want to go on this party. South Africans, not unless you get a Land Rover, mate, whatever it was. I'm like, well, fine. And I found this one decent for like $1,500. So I bought it. I drove it home. I had to stop like every 20 minutes and add oil. There was like plumes of blue smoke behind me the whole way home. People were honking. I got home. I fixed the oil leaks. Messed around with the wiring enough to where it wasn't just like throwing all kinds of issues. And I made it to one of the Re-Rover, Land Rover only events. Had an absolute blast. I got home and I sold it.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's too funny. That is too funny. Um, yeah, it was good to see a bunch of old faces. I saw Chris. Chris came up and said
Yeah.
hi. And he was saying that they're probably going to go back to Africa at some point, which
Oh, really?
he's been saying that for years. Um, but he seemed a little bit more serious about it this time, more so than normal. But yeah, it's one of those events that it's great to see everybody. It's great to get to hang out. Lee, like I said, kidnapped me. He needed so much help. We had 26 people in the booth at one time, and
Seriously?
that it was yeah. Lee was like he counted it because it was crazy, and he counted 26 people in his booth, and that was at one time, and it stayed. It would have those flows. It seemed like especially whenever it kind of sprinkled, people kind of disappeared for a little bit, but a different group of people came back. So it was like when a big group of people go inside, there's another group of people that are like, hey, it's getting crowded in here. Let's go outside for a little bit.
Yeah.
So it would come in waves. It was really pretty nice because we were able to kind of get a breather every once in a while, but not often because it was still pretty busy most of the time.
So it seemed like this year it happened more often than not, but vendors always tell me like what time of day they were busy. Like, hey, we noticed there was a huge rush at 9:30 in the morning, and then at 11 it kind of died off, and then at 1 it was full bore. Um, but what's funny about that is like somebody from the West Hall will give me those 3 times, for example. But then somebody from the East Hall will tell me 3 times that are almost exact opposites of those.
Oh yeah.
And then somebody from the outdoor vendor lot will give me a couple times when it was busy and
Well, that makes sense. You've got a third of the people going to the different spots, and it just rotates
it
around.
really does. I mean, the majority of the attendees. This is crazy. Like when you think about everybody as a whole, the entire group. So the majority of the attendees all arrive between 9 and 11. It's steady.
And stay there till the end.
Yeah, and then stay there till the end. So when the majority all comes in together, we're talking thousands of people all
Yeah.
coming in at the same time. It's kind of herd movements, right? So, human nature is that the least path of resistance is to turn right. Um,
Yeah.
if you didn't know that, this is why the odds, like when you walk into a casino, the odds of hitting a jackpot on the slot machines to the right are higher than they are to the left, because on the right hand side more people have pulled that lever, and you could be
It's had more plays.
you're much closer to the next one. So I think it's the same way with the expo, where majority of the people come in and then they're cutting right, like right past tailgate or tire table, and they're shooting down and hanging right.
So if you're going to an expo, go to the left.
left,
Go left.
if you want to avoid the noise, yeah,
Yeah, if you want to be able to talk to vendors, go left.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good little bit of information.
so
Next year, all the people on the left will be super crowded.
yeah, right.
It'll
Yeah.
be insane. Totally.
So I think, I don't know, we've tracked some data, and we've tried a couple times doing like some cell phone tracking throughout the event to see where people are spending time, but it's so up in the air. I mean, weather plays into it, time of day plays into
We
it,
need to just pick a few people and put some Apple tags on them.
right? Yeah. I wonder I wonder if you looked at it like, is it like traffic? Because the traffic tracks everybody by their cell phone.
Dude, we need a tracker on you that day. We need a tracker on you that we can replay it and it just keeps filling that line that you keep walking.
That'd be
Like it
awesome.
does it like 10 times fast or 20 times fast, so we can see like how much of the space gets drawn out.
Dude, I have an app for this. I have an app called Relive,
Dude,
and it would totally track that.
yeah.
And then I bet you could because it'll show an aerial map. I'll bet you could like lay a PNG of the More Expo floor plan over it and at least get an idea. But
It would be kind of fun to maybe grab a couple people and put like I mean, I'm saying an air tag, but some kind of tracker that they just turn in at the end, and kind of be like, the other fun thing would be to do the disposable camera thing. Like hand people a few disposable cameras and have them turn them in and just see what random shots we get
yeah,
when it's done.
my brother and I have gotten a hold of some of those
Yeah. Bunch of
at
dick
weddings, wedding
Bunch of dick
receptions,
pics.
ass pics. Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah, that could go bad real fast. That
Yeah.
is. I'm not saying they instantly get posted, but we
It's
can
all
we can snicker at them whenever we go through the pictures.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, might as well.
might as well.
I'm writing that
Exactly.
down too. I love it.
And
Uh,
you guys had a big, obviously the VIP party.
so that killed this year. Yeah, Big Iron Overland or the More Expo VIP party brought to you by Big Iron Overland Rally, which is cool. That
Yeah, we'll talk about
internally
that.
we were able to have Big Iron sponsor and pay for the bands to come in. That's cool. Um, there were 500 people in that room.
Right on.
Friday night. The band was thumping. They rocked. They're coming back and playing Big Iron this year. So if you enjoyed the hips at More Expo, yeah, they're playing Big Iron. A band that you've not seen yet is The Juice.
The Juice. I like it
Everybody loves
already.
these guys. Like of all 5 years, I'm pretty sure they're the one that's been requested back the most.
Really?
So this being the 5 year anniversary, we're bringing them back, and they're headlining Saturday night.
And I am coming on to help MC the event.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That's going to be a blast. I've already got marked on the calendar all the stuff. So, yeah,
You MC'd
tell
year
everybody.
one, right?
Huh?
You did the MC. It was year one.
Year one. Yeah.
So 5 year
year one.
anniversary. It's perfect.
It just makes sense. I think it's going to be a blast. Okay, you got me off track. So now tell me how this event has evolved. So has it changed quite a bit, or has it stayed the same as it was pretty much true to that first year?
It's been very true to the first year vibes. Big Iron Overland Rally is not More Expo. It's
Totally different.
It's totally different vibe. It is come in, set up all the gear, gadget, equipment. You know what's great about it is it's a good time to like set all that stuff out, air it all out, like organize and repack, and that's kind of where you set for winter. If you don't do I do most of my camping in the winter, but it's a good stage. Like you can come in and full on set up and just chill, which is nice. We don't get to do that very often. Big Iron.
Yeah, you said it the first year. You said this is kind of like I mean, obviously people pay to go, so it's not like it's a free event, but this is kind of like your thank you for everything. Throwing an event like this. This isn't an event that you're trying to bring on 50,000 vendors and make a bunch of money. This is really kind of a thank you event, is the way you've always approached it to me. With obviously you need to have some costs covered. Makes just total sense. But overall, this is an event to kind of have time to hang out with people more so than anything else.
We are trying to make a bunch of money.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong.
No.
Don't get me wrong, but this is more of a everybody come and enjoy it. This isn't like 200 vendors at more. That's kind of the point.
The thing about it is though, and I guess we don't. we don't get the message out there good enough. But yes, we are trying to make as much money as we can.
I
Uh,
didn't mean it that way, Chris.
no, because 100% of the profit, 100% of the profit goes back to Big Brutus.
Yeah. Well, and that's
So,
kind of what I was getting at. It's
yeah,
not just like,
this is
yeah, there's this event has things that it reaches
yeah,
more
this is
than just
something
someone's
like for the
pocketbook. Yeah.
community to just rally around. It's a good cause, very similar to Nick Mick.
Hmm.
Nick Mick holds a special place in the heart at More Expo. Big Brutus obviously holds a very special place in our hearts for the Big Iron Overland Rally. They're very gracious. They allow us to come in, pick the date that we want, and they work around our schedules, and they open their home to us essentially.
Yeah.
But it's such a fantastic piece of history. You know,
It
what's
is the
crazy is
coolest thing. I've been
since
inside.
since year one, so we've had
So cool.
four events. We've raised $54,000 for Big Brutus.
Wow.
That is the power of a seriously badass community right there.
Hmm.
Because it's not a we have 1,000, 1,500 attendees. Like at max during busiest time, it's probably 1,500. And for 1,500, what is that? For say that's 6,000 people across 4 years.
Okay.
With that, we were able to raise $54,000. Right?
Insane. Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Like
Yeah.
that's less people than attend one more expo.
And so are you doing the auction still each year?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
that is super fun, and people spend way more on stuff. Sometimes you get a deal,
yep.
but typically I see the prices get drastically jacked up because people know that it's going towards a good event. These things are donated to, help raise money for Big Brutus and what the event is for. Um, so it's pretty amazing. I remember the first year you and I were like, "What's going on?" That's $150 thing that just sold for $300. Like, what are we doing?
Straight up, yeah.
Yeah.
There was, I think it was last year. There was a Devos light kit or one light, single light, $180 light. It
Yeah.
sold for like $600.
It's crazy.
It's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That is so much fun. But yeah, still legit auction. So here's the exciting thing about this year being 5 year anniversary, and this is the big thank you and the big give back. We hope that we can still raise the money that we always do, which is usually between $12,000 and $15,000 per event for Big Brutus.
Hmm.
But we cut ticket prices by 66%.
No way.
Yeah, so it was usually in normal pricing for two people, weekend pass with camping, it's $150. Today, you can jump on the Big Iron Overland Rally website and you can buy that same ticket for $50.
Oh gosh, I didn't
So
even know that. So
two attendees, camping, full weekend pass, $50.
okay, and again, so for the people listening, even in the back row, the people that are way back there in the back, what's the website they need to go to get this?
That is the BigIronOverlandRally.com.
Okay, Big
Not
Iron.
delete the etch a sketch that. Just BigIronOverlandRally.com.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
let me see. So ticket pricing is wild. Yeah, weekend pass normally $50. It's 25.
And that's if you don't want to camp. That's if you just want to come
Yeah,
in and enjoy the day, go home, go sleep somewhere else, come back the next day, that kind of thing.
yep. You could go camp at the strip pits. They're awesome. We would prefer everybody camps with us, but I know it's not.
It's a really good time.
It's not everybody's jam. The property's huge though, so there's
Well,
plenty of
and
like,
it's one of those things. I think overlanders are funny because we all want to camp in a dispersed area alone until we get some buddies around.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what.
And then we're like, no, come over here. Let's circle up. Let's do the thing. Let's get everybody over here. What food do you what are you cooking tonight? Oh, okay, I want to try some of that. Or you do
Well,
like me and you just don't show up with any food because you know that everybody's going to overcook and there's always going to be plenty of food and food trucks. You
yeah,
guys have food. You guys have food trucks.
several. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think they're all already booked. This is the most ahead we've ever been in planning. You know, the first
Nice.
year from approval to do this at Big Brutus to the time that we had the event, it was like 59 days to pull
Oh
off
wow.
the entire event. We had like 40 vendors, and it was wild. So you get better at it as the years go
Yeah.
on. But yeah,
Well, and
we're
then
doing part of
you've got the repeat offenders, the people that are going to buy the tickets every year, or the vendors that are going to come every year.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you've always got those, I'm sure. So
I'm looking here. RV passes. RV camping is sold out. Um, Non-powered camping won't sell out. I mean, we have it capped at like 7 or 800,
gotcha.
and even then, it still wouldn't be that packed. But I mean, on a normal year with $150 ticket prices, we usually see like 350, 400 campers. So maybe it'll double or triple. I don't know. It's totally
Hey, and
just
everybody, heads up: if you do not want it to be noisy, do not camp anywhere near Big Brutus. If
yeah,
you camp anywhere near Big Brutus, it will get loud at least the last night.
every night. It's loud every
But
night.
typically every night there's people playing in the bucket. There's something going on in the bucket.
You
It's
know.
part of the event. Don't camp right there if you've got kids and you want to go to sleep early.
So Rhino and I built last year for I think it was for last year's event, maybe the year before. We actually built a stage that sits in the bucket.
Nice.
So the problem that we had the couple years, and you'll remember this, like remember the first year it was all of us and the Oscar Mike guys, and we're just hanging out. Like there's a great picture of us. There's like 15 or 20 of us all sitting Indian style in the
And
bucket.
we all got black shit all over
We
us.
all ruined our pants. Like just every single person that was wearing whatever they were wearing,
Anything. Yeah.
black, like 50, 75-year-old black grease.
Yeah. Just
Uh,
smeared all over you.
so now, instead of that, because we still want to hang out in the bucket,
Yeah.
Rhino and I went down there, we took some measurements, and then we ran to Home Depot, shout out, and then and built this stage, and dude, it's like bulletproof sturdy. Since then, we've had bands on the bucket. This year, we're gonna do the classes on the bucket, so all the classes will be down there at the
Oh,
bucket.
okay. Yeah.
Bands, we had a couple over the years down at the bucket, but we're gonna move them back up to the main stage, since we have $1,000 sound system up there. We might as well
Yeah.
utilize it all day.
Up by the pavilion area. Is that where the main stage is?
Main stage right now, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Main stage
Remember?
right below the counterweight. Now we had to do the band up at the
Because
pavilion
it rained like crazy that year.
first year. That's still our contingency plan, man.
Yeah.
If you come to Big
Worked
Island
out.
and it
Worked
rains,
out.
we're still having music because we paid for it.
Yeah.
But we're moving up to the. We're moving up.
So for those of you who don't know, then the other stage is on the other side of Big Brutus.
Yeah, right below the.
It's so big you can have a concert on one side and a concert on the other side.
Right? You totally can, and you wouldn't even be able to hear the other one.
No. Well, the sound's going away from each other, so that helps. So, but
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And then bring your kayaks. There's always people that want to go and do their kayaks down there at the. I mean, it's not a river. What is that? It's where they dug.
That's the pit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a strip pit. It's a it's 100 feet wide and about a mile long. Um, and I think at its deepest point, it's like 70 feet deep, which is
Wow.
wild. That is the last pit that Brutus dug and didn't completely backfill on its, because it would always dig. So say it's 100 feet wide, it would dig 50 all the way out the whole mile, and then it would work its way back on the other side, like here, but
Hmm.
it would reach over and pull that dirt back in. It would dig dirt out, and then on the other side pull it back in, so that way they
And
weren't.
that whole process, like a mile long, how long does that take? Do you remember? Did they tell you? Because
So
the
it
thing moves at like what, like super slow.
uh, uh, so 0.25 miles per hour.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it's working the whole time it's moving. It's not like yeah.
it worked every day except for Christmas, 24/7. So man, I don't know. Yeah, 5,280 feet
God, that'd have to take
divided by
forever.
0.25,
I
and that's
can't. I
how
can't.
many.
I can't. I can't.
That's
Even
how
you
many
saying
hours.
this out loud makes my head like, and I'm not even trying to think about those numbers. Like they're the furthest thing from my head.
Here you go. So if it was continuously moving at a quarter mile an hour for a mile, that's one direction. It would be 21,120 hours. So divide that by 24 hours in a day. It's 880 days, one direction. Then it's still got to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. So at least
So
5 years.
1,760 days divided by 365, 4.8 years to dig that one pit.
Damn, how good was I? I just threw that out there like just under
Yeah,
5. Like, dude, like, see, I impressed myself every once
yeah,
in a while.
4.8219. But who's counting?
So what's the so you got time until the big iron. Um do you have any kind of trips? Do you have anything planned? The truck obviously looks dialed in, but you always change things. So are you able to tell us any trips you have planned or any upgrades to gear?
Yeah, so the truck is wicked dialed. The One of the favorite things on the Tundra right now is the Venturous truck top, which is a camper shell. So Venturous is the more familiar name is LTA Manufacturing camper shells, and they invented this is really cool. I actually got to go down. Their plants in Ottawa, Kansas. I got to go view the actual manufacturing process, like go through
Yeah,
the whole
go check
assembly
out the
line.
whole plan out. Yeah.
Normal camper shells are they have a mold and then you spray in the fiberglass.
Okay.
You kind of shape it and all that stuff, but it's chopped fiberglass that shoots out of a gun. You spray it in.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they're making these is like a matte fiberglass and then they injection mold it,
Okay.
which means it's 30% lighter. It's like twice as strong,
Yeah.
um, and it's probably I'll bet it's 50% thinner. It's so thin.
But it's so
Uh,
much stronger, I'm sure.
so normal camper shell, you can't stand on the roof. Like it'll
Yeah.
crack. It's done. You may not notice it as soon as you hear the crack, but give it a year or two and it's going to be sagging in the top. These things, 1,500 pound capacity.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Huh.
that's one of the latest items on there. Of course, we got the big country 4x4 roof rack on it, which is another massively overbuilt badass piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But so I've got it on there, but then I was talking to them a little bit more, and they want to make some changes. They're constantly evolving. So the Tundra goes down there like next week or the next week or two, and they're putting a new prototype on there with some new features like some LED lights that are inlaid into the fiberglass and like some really crazy cool stuff.
You're like, sure, whatever. Make it cool.
Let's try it. I'll
Yeah.
be your guinea pig. But I'm testing this on behalf of the community, I
Well,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's for science.
For science, we put glue on a bee, it died. So now we're putting a camper shell on the tundra. Um, but so there's that. I've got a huge trip coming up where I'm pulling the camper. We're gonna be crossing the continental divide. Like,
I saw something. I asked because I saw something with maps and different things.
yeah. So the biggest thing for that is getting the Willwood brakes on there. Because if you've ever driven a Tundra with 37-inch tires and a
A little
6,000
sloppy,
pound
huh?
camper behind you, it
A little
doesn't
soft.
stop. So we're gonna do some product testing on that. But yeah, so Cindy Pope.
Yeah, I've met her.
Cindy is a brilliant event mind,
The
and
campground mom.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
she owns the More Expo campground.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's fixed that thing to dialed in, but she's fantastic at coming up with these events. So, Core, wonderful. Overland the Red, another slam dunk. She does some women's wheeling events that are fantastic, and then her latest and greatest creation is Range to Range,
Yeah.
which is in Mackay, Idaho. If anybody's interested in going, the More Expo crew and a convoy of homies, we were departing Lee Summit, my house, at 6 p.m. on the 17th. We're going to camp along the way. We should get in on the 19th, and then we're going to enjoy the heck out of the event. We're going to go do some wheeling in the Sawtooth Mountains. It's Lost River Range, so it's like, I mean, it's just absolutely insane. So we're gonna go do that, and then after that event's over, my wife, me, and Rowan, we're gonna go to Glacier, and we're gonna spend 5 days at Glacier. From there, we're headed to Yellowstone.
Right on, dude.
We're gonna spend 5 days at Yellowstone, and then from there we're heading to Teton. Another week or so between Jackson and
Dude,
Teton.
how long are you gonna be gone?
20-25 days, somewhere in there,
Nice.
wherever it lands.
Yeah.
Ultimate Freedom get Starlink, so I can.
Well, I mean, really, it's research and development for the More Expo, and I mean, you got to live the thing you talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you have to. It. Yeah.
Now,
Sorry, honey, but we have to go do this.
it's totally true. I mean, are we camping in a camper? Yes. But I get
Oh, don't get me started. Are we overland or are we sport off-roaders that just happen to have a tent or a camper pulled behind our vehicle? Like
uh,
what?
this trip. I am sport off-roader, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
For those who define it as such,
Right.
but you know, whatever. I've slept on the ground, slept on picnic tables,
Yeah.
slept in plenty of places. I don't define the way that I travel as such. We love to get out, and I love being able to go out and meet new people and see new things as a family. I always make friends along the way.
Hmm.
So, we'll get to see some cool stuff. I get to swing by. Oh, there's a couple things I got to check out that are cool. CBI Off Road Fab.
Dude, yeah.
We get to go check out their facility, which I'm
Because
really
yeah, they're
excited
right in
about.
there.
And then the X Overland Ranch. We're popping in there. We have a personal invite to go check it out. So that's cool. We're like 10 days before they've got a big event called the Big Thing. We're like 10 days before that. Unfortunately, it'd be fun to see that. But
Yeah.
by that point in time, we'll be damn near back to Kansas City.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean that's cool. And then Big Iron coming up. Hit Rendezvous in the Ozarks, which is love that event. Randy's working on some cool new stuff. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what he's working on yet, but he's got some new aces up his sleeve. I'm excited to see come to
Right on. Good.
fruition.
Good. Good.
Uh, and then, oh, I think I'm going to be able to make it to Save Expo this year, which is
Save
cool.
Expo. What's Save Expo? I don't know that one.
So that is a dear friend of mine, Alyssa Vinosky. She has an event in Florida. Save Expo is the Southeast Adventure, no, yeah, Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo.
Okay.
Um, and it is, I've never been able to make it because I always, the RV show that I help with is always on that same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a stellar event. It is a stellar event. It rave reviews from the vendors that go there. We share a lot of the same vendors, clients, and attendees. So uh, I'll finally actually be able to make it down to that one. So I'm excited about that. And
Very
then
nice.
and then just tons of camping. Me and you got to figure out a.
Yeah, we wanted to do this before, well, this month, and then Lee had to go to the expo. I guess that's where he was. He's just coming back. Did you
Oh,
make it? Did you
I
make
did.
it out to West?
Yeah, I saw Lee
Oh, okay.
for minutes.
Yeah. So he's slowly making it back. He was gonna have to go do some fly fishing and some different things like that.
Grandpa
Um,
stuff.
Grandpa camper stuff.
Paw paw.
Dude, I tell you, Pawpaw Camper, it was. We met up right before the Tulsa Rigs and Coffee. We met up at Keystone Lake again. We were just camping. We weren't overlanding. We were at a state park. We were like if we gotta start doing that. We anyway.
Yeah, you have to
I think
label
I
it.
think it's just fun. Yeah. So we were in there. There were so many mosquitoes already, and we got in there. There's no mosquitoes. He has Starlink set up, so I'm watching the Thunder playoff basketball game, and I'm like, this is the way. This is. I'm getting to the age that this is really appealing to me. I
Yeah,
am really getting there to where I'm like, I think that I think I'd be okay with a pop up for now. Like if I were to do the slide in, I think I still right now would do the pop up.
yeah, like a
I'm
four.
not I'm not ready for losing all of my gas mileage with with the big tall because
Oh
the
yeah,
Nissan sucks. And anyway, and plus I think you have to have full size vehicle. I I know they make them for the midsize. I just don't think the price makes any sense at all because like the Scout camper, which was amazing,
that's what I was
the
gonna
pop up that they
mention.
had was still $37,000,
Oh,
and there wasn't a kitchen setup at all. It was just cabinets, so it was just an L-shaped bench, kitchen setup with the cab over, and it's a pop up. But I mean, it's Scout, so you know that it's made well, and the price is because there's not a whole lot in that size
yeah,
in the market. So they could pretty much put whatever price because like Lee's camper, which is hard sided and has so many more amenities to it, he got for I think 37,000. So he's like, how is or 36 somewhere right in there? He was like, how is that the same price as this? And I was like, well, it's availability of that size for that
yeah.
vehicle.
I don't know. I mean, I have our camper is a 22-foot Intech, and it's like the one if money wasn't an option, the camper that I wanted, from More Expo, that's the only place I'm going shopping, of course. Uh, the hell if I'm gonna go shop anywhere else for a camper.
I know, dude. If I win the lottery, we're gonna have to talk about what vendors we need to come up that year, so
Yeah,
that I can make my purchase at the
it's, it,
yeah
parts don't go on my truck, and I don't buy shit unless it's
yeah
at More
right.
Expo. But I mean the other one, like it came down to these two, and the price was double for the other one that I wanted. Actually, only like 70% more.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I don't know. Now I will tell you that the one with the 70% higher price tag. True four season, uh, totally
You spend
60 miles
two
an hour.
months 2 months out on with no hookup. I'm exaggerating, but
But
all
yeah,
the battery, all the water, all the things. Yeah.
yeah. I frankly I just don't camp that much in a camper. And when I'm out in the either the Jeep or the Tundra with the rooftop tents, I don't really need anything.
Hmm.
I bring a little charger pack to charge my phone if I'm up in the tent. Um,
Here's the deal: if I don't have to
and
set it
snacks.
up, I'll use it. So like if it's Lee's camper, if it's something like that, I'll
Yeah.
use the shit out of the microwave because it's there.
Oh yeah.
But if I have to pull a microwave out and plug it into something, I'll never, ever, ever use it.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's part of the availability. You were talking about money, like if money wasn't. So my thing that I would buy, I've got a lottery ticket that I haven't checked. So I probably need to check that. But I'm gonna go get, if I ever won the lottery, I'd get a truck house. I'd get the AVE, so the Ram, but I'd get that truck house cab.
Let me
Have you
see.
seen it? We've had them on before. So they started with the Toyota, and they extend the bed. They make it. They came from, I think, Earth Roamer. Is
Ah,
kind
yeah.
of is maybe their background, or building boats, or a little bit of both. But that's the vehicle I would get. They've got, I think, a single cab Ram with the like full camper on the back, like Winnebago style, like Earth Roamer style, big wheels, big tire, like all the suspension things, all the things. That's what I'm getting if I win the lottery.
These guys build on yeah, they build on the taco too.
Yeah, yeah. So they
Um,
extend the frame to be able to get what they want, and it's a pass through from the cab into the camper itself. It's not, you don't even have to leave the truck.
so I remember when these first came out, I think it was 20 it was like end of 2020 when they came out with it on the Tacoma frame. And it was
Sounds probably about right because they
I
were
saw
one.
it and I
We
was like,
had them on, so yeah, that sounds probably about right.
but that dude that BCR on the Ram chassis
Yeah.
starting at
Well,
495,000.
I know. That's why I'm saying I'd have to win the lottery in order to facilitate that. And even then, even if I won the lottery, do you know how hard that would be to be like, okay, let's
Right?
do it.
Yeah. I mean, at a $500,000, you can buy a pretty
You
rad house. You
buy a
can
lot
buy
of stuff. Yeah.
a
So
really
the
rad
other
house
idea,
on the river.
and I love this lottery talk. I do this every once in a while. The other idea is to get a Jeep, um, 4 door, and get the American Safari XL extension on it. Adds 14 inches to the back, and then they have the whole pop-up wedge style camper. In fact, who was it? The Epic Family Road Trip. They
Yep.
had both of their Jeeps for a long time set up that way. In fact, currently the Jeeps are set up that way. Now they've got the Rossum, whatever that
Cross
thing is.
Monster.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
right there with the truck house. Like
Did you see?
that's
There was one of those Race Against Blindness was selling raffle tickets for one of those at Moran.
yeah. There was one parked out there. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
They gave it away. Oh, actually,
Has
I
that one been given away yet?
it did. Yeah, that was the last week the tickets were available. Was
Okay.
when it was at Moore, and then as soon as they
I
got
didn't get a
back,
call, so I guess I didn't win
no, I bought a bunch of tickets for it too. As soon as they got back to Phoenix, they announced the winner, and I think I know who
Who might
that
have
might
won?
be. They announced it. It's not a secret, but I think I know the person
Yeah.
that won it, and yeah. So um, now Race Against Blindness. If you want to play lottery with a little better odds, Probably a lot better odds. And
Probably a lot better odds.
in
Yeah.
the
And
name of the game, you go
you
buy it.
actually know it goes for a good cause.
Yeah.
Not like we don't know. Like, are the schools really getting air conditioning units? We don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Why are they calling school on hot days?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, if on Race Against Blindness, right now, yeah, I'm gonna buy a lottery ticket because I want to buy a Ross Monster. Just go enter to win a
Just
Ross
go.
Monster.
Yeah. Just go into the thing.
But they've got a deal right now. I believe this is a van by Ross Monster. It's so you win the van, but it's completely wide open, like it's clear. It's not built yet inside, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get $100,000 budget to build it out however you want. Um, so they've got that going on. Let's see, yeah. Winner will design and build out the interior with the help of Ross Monster, with $100,000 build budget, not including the van,
Okay.
and you get $50,000 along with it.
Yeah. Usually that's enough to pay the tax.
Barely, yeah.
Yeah.
The other one that they've got going on right now, and they had this on display at More Expo, was the Tacoma Trail Hunter
Uh huh. Oh yeah. With the now was that one with the trailer?
with the Voyager Expedition trailer wrapped to match.
Yeah. Yeah. In the traditional Toyota colors.
Yeah, so I I don't know. You want to buy a lottery ticket? You might. I think your odds are better on this stuff, but
Totally. Totally better.
yeah.
So I was looking for it and I can't see it. Maybe I found it. Hold on. No, I can't see it. Have you seen, and maybe it's been going on for a while, but Down to Mob has been promoting that auction website for Overland vehicles?
I saw him out at Overland Expo. Let
Have
me
you
see.
seen? So he's got his Fuso on there, and then Badass Burnett's got her Blue Taco with a custom built camper on the back. That's on that for sale. Um, I didn't know if that was a new thing. You know, it's funny, dude. Being up in Alaska, you are really like away from everything.
Yeah.
Like, like it's funny. Like I had to even get caught up on sports because people up there don't watch sports, and you don't get real TV. Like even the local station is weird. Like the local Anchorage, like news station,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, I'm sure it's affiliated with somebody, but we never could watch it on like air antenna. We always had to like watch it off their app, so it wasn't like watching it the TV channel. It was just watching their news station stuff. So it was weird. Nobody watched sports. I mean, they had a couple sports bars that would have stuff in there, but usually it was hockey.
It might as well be in Korea.
Right. Like there's
North Korea.
fans, but no one talks about it. Everybody, and then of course I'm up there working with
So
Northwood Buildings, and it's all Mennonite, so they're big sports people, but they're not like it wasn't a priority. Let's just put it that way.
that's funny. Let's see. I'm going through the comments. Since we don't have leave. There's nobody flashing up
Dude,
comments.
I wasn't even paying attention. It's been so long. Yeah,
Let's
I don't
see.
even know where they are anymore on here. Let's see. I found chat.
I don't know how to
Let's see.
flash them up, but I can.
Oh, I can. I think it's something maybe I can do.
It just.
Wow, I
I'm just.
totally forgot that we even had a chat going on. It's been so long.
I'm on the More Expo page one. So
Okay,
Ryan McAllister. This is my favorite one. It's the first one. It says Chris's demand. Yeah. Thanks,
there we
Ryan.
go.
Jason Ake, my homie. He is the mastermind behind
Speaking of
all.
which, we need to talk. I've got him popping up on the screen now. We need to talk about Jason. MFer could have died, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what in the world? If you guys don't know him, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, a really close friend of ours, somebody that helps you a lot with more one of your partners, one of your people, I don't know how
Yeah,
to say it,
part of the
um,
family.
had a really, really bad accident. Luckily, he had just dropped his father off, 20 minutes before that, because his dad was with him, parked in the storyteller row. You would have seen him. He was right up there to the right as you walk in. Um, but yeah, rolled his taco like that he just got wrapped, um, like 4 times or something crazy.
Yeah, just got more than wrapped. He just got it like dialed in, fully
Yeah,
ready to go. He caught wind, ate the shoulder, and then had a hard time getting it back on the road and overcorrected. Totally human error and something that
and
could
he was in like dirt. He wasn't like on a pavement, right?
happen. He
If the
was driving
pictures,
on pavement. The
he
wind,
was driving on pavement.
yeah, the
Okay.
wind pushed him into a very soft shoulder. But when he got back on, just it's
Oh yeah.
just a slight overcorrection, man, and that thing it rolled 4 times. His phone emergency called emergency services, and he was on the driver's side when it stopped. So pocket knife through the airbag, climbed up out the passenger window, and just, I mean, yeah, like
Amazing, he's alive.
what's broken, what's
Yeah.
yeah,
Pat yourself down.
totally. Like
Am I in shock? Am I really? Am I hurt? Like,
yeah.
what's going on? Do I have legs? Do I have everything I need to have?
So I got to see him this weekend at Overland Expo, and he's doing good, and he looks better than ever.
Big
And
smile on his face, just
yep,
happy as can be. Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
we're it's
Jeez.
great to have him back. Full steam. Waypoint Creative absolutely slays for more Expo.
Yeah.
They're the genius behind all of the branding. They're why you see the social media ads. They're the uh, you know anything that goes out, all of our newsletters and emails and all that stuff. Jason is, how hard it is to find a marketing person in within industry. I'm
A good one. I would imagine it's hard to find a good one,
Yeah,
especially.
it's incredibly difficult. So he absolutely kills it. But yeah, we're definitely lucky to have him uh, with us, and he's got a beautiful family.
Oh yeah.
So it's it's just it's such a powerful thing to be able to look at it, through these glasses, like and be able to have had a beer with. I had a beer with him Saturday night, and it's like,
Yeah, just how close it was,
yeah,
and that you just realize that in an instant, like we could be having a totally different conversation, but luckily, grace of God and everything, he walked away with very little scratches and bruises, like nothing really crazy. Um, yeah, just completely amazing.
so yeah, great to see him. And here's a good example of how awesome our community and this industry is. Like, I made a social media post, and it wasn't, 10 hours later, our mutual shared clients are sending me messages and sending him messages and saying, "Hey, don't get down, brother. We got you.
Yeah,
What do you need? Let's build the next truck. Let's move on." And I think that's really cool. And if the timing plays out right, I want to make it, kind of a presentation piece at More Expo next year,
oh yeah,
where it's got a set display with some photos of his past vehicle. There's not much of it left, but just yeah, there's something to be said about the whole deal. And
well, and that's why we drive these vehicles. Obviously, they survive crazy accidents. They're built. Toyotas have always been known to be built well. All of the vehicles that I say all, a lot of the common vehicles that are used in this lifestyle, this hobby, whatever you want to call it, are usually pretty robust. Good to know, especially with something like this that happened to Jason. So just super happy that he was able to walk away and he's fine.
Yeah. So amazing. But back on board and we're back in action.
Right on, right
You
on.
know,
Well, hey, we've been going at this for a while, but I do have another. Geez, we've been going at it for a long time. So I do have another question. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, since we've been we're OGs, I say we're OGs. We're OGs to us. We've been in this for several years. There's OGs beyond us,
kids.
but you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like
Totally.
there were so many new faces, and there were so many people that I talked to at the More Expo and even at this Rigs and Coffee that were building their vehicle.
Hmm.
Like they're getting into it, you know. And with that said, I think that you and I and Lee and a few other people, we're kind of looking at comfort more. Where these people are like, dude, what's the best ground to should I get a swag? And I'm like, like
Yeah.
I think a swag would be awesome, but I'm getting to the point where I want to slide in the camper. So what do you see that evolution? I mean, we've been doing this for several years. Um, what do you think about the evolution? Kind of like what I'm getting at, as far as I think there's an art to it. I think you go from your backpacker, hiker, car camp or ground tent, car camping, rooftop tent. It just kind of goes on. So, do you see an arc like that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, even on my own personal journey, it's been uh, how can I camp as rugged, or what I see now looking back is like intentionally miserable as possible.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, I want it starts out by I want my tent to set up easier. So then you go with the gazelle or you go with the
I don't want to
swag,
fuck with shit. Yeah.
and then it's like, I kind of like to be up off the ground. So then you're either looking at camping in the vehicle on like a goose gear setup or a rooftop tent. And then it's like, all right, climbing up or climbing out of the tent to pee
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a
Kind of
lot.
sucks.
It does. Like that's my biggest fault to a rooftop tent is getting out of it to pee.
I
Uh,
peed all over
so,
over. I peed all over Lee's truck the other day.
just for fun, or
Well, I didn't want to climb down, so I just kind of opened the window and stuck it out there and
not as long as you thought it was.
let the wind take it. Well, there was wind, so I
Yeah.
had wind. I was smart enough to know to go on the wind on the side that was blowing away from the truck,
Yeah.
away from my truck, but towards his. So yeah, you're welcome, Lee.
So then, and then after that, it's like travel trailer. It's it's nice to be able. You can do more kitchen out of it. You can
Hmm.
set up a shower. You can carry some water. You can carry bigger batteries.
And you know what's funny about that? So we're not quite there yet, but the evolution or the natural progression of things, people tend to go back down. They go back down to smaller. You get to a point where you've gone so big and it's just so much stuff that you start going down. I've even recently, and of course maybe just because I think this would be so obnoxious and fun, I thought that I need to get a few of you guys together, a few of my friends together, and we need to go buy Bronco 2s or Volkswagen Bugs. I mean, the Volkswagen Bug's probably overdone, but like a Bronco 2, something that nobody, it's not on your radar, like a Jimmy Blazer, a
Yeah.
couple of Bronco 2s, like the old school SUV. Maybe an old school square body kind of Pathfinder, like a hard body Pathfinder, stuff like that. And let's go every once in a while. Not that that's the way we want to camp every time, but it may be fun to get together and get some drinks out and do another cocktail video with these vehicles around us. I think that kind of stuff is fun.
So and like today, I'm on. I'll roll both ways. Like If I'm with the
Yeah,
family, I'll take the Intech, and we're we got everything we need: shower, water, microwave, convection oven, you name it, it's in there.
because you want your girls to go with you.
Yeah,
That's why
we're
we
good.
do it. Yeah, that's why we do that.
But then if I'm going solo, like what was really fun about planning out the Midwest Discovery route was, uh, it's I'm back to just me and the rooftop tent. Only these are 3-day trips, and I can remember back to packing for a 3-day trip, like every other tool in my drawer comes out and goes in the Jeep, and I got 9 pairs of clothes, and I've got all this stuff for cooking these elaborate meals. And now it's like,
Have hot dogs the whole time.
uh, uh, yeah, I'm like, dude, 1 pair of clothes to wear for the
Yeah,
3 days, and then a backup pair just in case I screw something up.
yeah,
So that's that. I can totally pack out of a backpack. A couple emergency, like freeze dried meals and some snacks.
uh huh.
Uh, but we're in the United States, man. There's not many places where you're not gonna pass a cooler.
You're half a day from probably something.
Yeah, I mean, any of the Midwest Discovery routes, we had almost 300 people run those, and any one of them could tell you they were out there. But every 3-4 hours, you're passing a small town diner or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Even
Or
if
there's an escape route somewhere along the way that you can get to civilization.
Casey's Pizza or whatever it may be. Like
Yeah,
even running the high water mark in Arkansas, you can pop out and go grab a bite and be back in.
yeah. You're not gonna die.
No, so I pack food terribly. I don't eat very healthfully, but like boiling water and making a cup of noodles is a
Yeah,
okay with
that's all
me.
you need.
And then I'm a big advocate of bringing a couple cans of smoked oysters and a couple cans of sardines.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh,
Smoked salmon, dude.
Cans, yeah,
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
I
yeah.
had
You
some of
being
the
in
best
Alaska,
smoked
you had
salmon.
plenty of that.
I had the best smoked salmon in a jar. I had a neighbor that lived across the street for a while. That, yeah,
Yeah,
good stuff.
smoked salmon. There's a couple things I get from Alaska is the smoked salmon. Uh, you ever get the smoked octopus? It's amazing.
Did we do smoked? I don't think we did smoked octopus. I did. Molly and I did some kind of octopus appetizer at the sushi place, but it wasn't. I don't believe it was smoked.
Yeah. Like, let's see, what is it?
Like
I think it's
jarred,
Alaskan
like
shrimp.
jarred canned smoked pot. That sounds amazing. It was a
There's,
lot better than I thought it was going to be.
yeah,
It's pretty
right.
good. Yeah, my favorite fish though, out of all the fish that we had, was rockfish. Rockfish, I think, has the best taste. Most people say halibut. I like it better than halibut. Um,
Is it similar?
it's a white fish, so it's
Okay.
white.
Ugly
It's
looking thing.
really really good. The meat is white. There was a taco place. God, what was that place called? Now I'm going blank. Saint, no, not Saint. Anyway, Ponchos. I think it was, no, it wasn't Ponchos. Anyway, there was a place that we went to all the time. It was in Soldotna, and uh, they were a Mexican place, but it was more of a seafood Mexican. So like they had a Alaska burrito that had rockfish in it. It had um, scallops and beans and like just it was a burrito, cheese. It was, yeah,
That is
so
the
good.
ugliest fish. Its
It's
eyes.
weird looking fish. Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, they're crazy looking.
Something. Yeah, I'd definitely throw
Yeah,
that back if I caught it.
good fish, good eating fish though.
Oh,
So yeah, it's funny the evolution of everything and the way things go, but
really so, yeah.
and it's fun to see. It's fun to see all the new faces. Lee and I talked about it several times when we were there at the More Expo. We were just blown away. What's that saying? No, I don't want to do that. we were blown away by the new people and the questions on gear, like new people questions, you know. So it was one of those things that we were so happy to see because, you know, you see these posts that say, is overlanding dead? Is, you know, what are we doing? Like, what's this? It's still, whatever we call it, whatever label gets put on what you choose to do or however you want to call it, there's still going to be people that want to jump in their vehicle, take some camping gear, and go explore.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's not going to stop. Um, but
No, and that's
it still, it was real nice to see it for myself that there's still people that are new, that are excited about this, that are getting into this. And it was a range of ages from younger people to, you know, people closer to my age that are just now getting into it because they just now discovered it. They just now found what this is.
it's ever evolving. You know, in it from what I'm aware of, it's probably what 13 years, 15 years overlanding has really been accessible to the U.S. consumer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's been on our radar for probably about
yeah,
that long. Yeah.
I remember when Tough Stuff first launched the rooftop tent, and
Mm-hmm.
it was the same as the Smitty built tent, and you know it was just that original rooftop tent that we had in the
Yeah.
United States, and it was like $1,200, which is so cheap now compared to most rooftop tents. Most you can still get some really good ones
Yeah.
for more, but I mean, goodness, you can also spend
You can
six.
get a hard sided rooftop tent,
Yeah,
like hard sided.
there's the carbon fiber one that's like $25,000 or something,
Uh-huh.
or Red Tail, I think.
Red
But
tail.
I
Yeah.
mean, so soon as those came out, Megan and I bought one, and this is like 10, 12 years ago. And I remember being in campgrounds or on float trips or anything. We had it on top of the Escape, uh, and it was like the most popular camp setup in the campground.
Oh yeah. Everybody. Yeah.
But now, roll into any campground or any campsite you see along the trail, and it's rooftop tents. So it's so
I think
people
if
would
you see it,
stop like, what is that?
yeah, I think that. So it's funny when we went to Keystone Lake and camped out not too, a couple week or two ago. I still had a lot of people that would slow down and check out the rooftop tent. You know, I've got the quick pitch wedge style. Nobody else there. Everybody else was in either a ground tent or had a trailer.
Oh yeah.
So it's still on the state park level. Um, and maybe you see it more in different places. You know, further west you go, you probably see it more often. But yeah, there was no other rooftop setup out there, and it was a nice weekend. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of people out there. Um, but yeah, I say that only because there's still such a big market, and there's still quite a few people that like are curious or are just outside of it enough that they don't know a whole lot of what's going on, and I think that's going to continue to grow with everything else out there. The more people do it, the more it grows. And I think a lot of people have thought that overlanding has reached kind of its point, and I think it did during COVID. I think we did reach a point where it grew like super, super, super fast because that was because people were pushed into it. You know, they couldn't go and do
Yep.
the kind of vacation that they've done in the past, so they were looking for a different way to do things, and this came up, and people got into it. People are kind of walked away a little bit from it now because they can go back to Disney World, they can go back and do those things. Um, but I still think it put the taste in a lot of other people's mouths that are still continuing to do this. I saw a lot of things for sale, but not near the number of things for sale, used things for sale that I thought I would.
Yeah, totally true. You know, the other thing too is, as from an industry standpoint, as things seem to evolve, you start seeing a lot of interchange or commingling between different activities. So I always say that, you know, we overland to go dot dot dot. What is
Yeah.
the dot dot dot? And that's where a lot of us share so many passions. Like I really like to go mountain bike. I really like to go kayak. So I overland to go find places that usually people can't get to, so I can, you know, dot dot dot. It's
Yeah.
the mountain biking. I'm also into shooting, so I like to go shoot. So, you know, amongst and we're seeing that more at more expo where a lot of the vendors from what you'd see at like any of these sporting events, they're coming in. Like this year at more, we had Voltec safes. You know, that's primarily shooting sports.
Yeah.
We had Silencer Central. So, you know, these are
Yeah, it really hadn't commingled with like the hunting crowd or the fishing crowd fully integrated yet.
it
But
will.
it's starting to overlap, and Lee's starting to see that with his trail and timber company because he goes to not only overlanding events, but he goes to fishing events, and he
Yeah.
even goes to airplane events and different things because the product that he like a lot of the products that he's pushing um, have a place in all of those because when you're going hunting, when you're going fishing, what are you doing? You're camping.
Yep. Yep.
For a large portion of people are camping when they do that. So it just makes sense. Hey dude, we've been on here for like 2 hours. It's probably people are probably like, dude, are these guys gonna shut up? So I think let's wrap it up. Again, when is Big Iron coming?
September 27th.
Okay. And do we have dates for more for 26 yet?
April 17th and 18th, back to our normal cycle.
Gotcha.
Contract
Okay.
signed, baby. We're selling booth spaces already.
Right on, right on. Well, hey, dude, thank you for being my first guest as I got back. Yeah, let's do a cheers for sure.
Welcome back. Great to hear
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. I'm ready to go camping, ready to get into the things. Already been to a couple of different events here locally. Went to an event at where was that? At Four Wheel Parts. The first weekend I was here, and then obviously the Rigs and Coffee. But before all of that, I came to the More Expo. I was so excited. Like it was kind of bittersweet when I knew I was coming back. Because it's Alaska. But as I got closer, I kind of realized that if I pushed it, I was going to be able to make the More Expo. And I wasn't going to tell anybody at first. In fact, Cindy kept the secret for a long time. And then Lee told me that he wasn't going to make it. And he was like, I can't go. And I was like, motherfucker. So I was like, here's what I was going to do. I was going to surprise you guys, but I'll just let you know. And then that's when I reached out and talked to you a little bit. And then ends up that he was lying to me and that he ended up making it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really worked out. Just seeing your face come in was fantastic. So
Dude, and then whenever I saw your wife, it was, it's like I'd never left. It was like all the people, there were a lot of familiar faces, and everybody was super awesome. There was a funny thing the night of the concert. I was coming in, and I guess I never officially checked in. Like I never scanned my QR code. Like I just here's my ticket. Like I got my ticket. It's on my phone. Like I never really signed in. So whenever I was walking back, the little gatekeepers that you had were like, "Hey, buddy," and I was like, "Oh, well, you need this from my phone." And they looked at me like, "What? I don't have a QR thing to scan." And so your wife was right there, and I looked back, and they were like, "Hey, this guy's trying to," and then somebody was walking through, and they were like, "Dude, that's Michael," and they just laughed as they were walking through. And of course, I've not been around. These people don't know me. Like it's a whole thing. So your wife just starts laughing and says, "Yeah, he's okay." And they're like, "Okay, we weren't real sure what to do. He was saying that he just needed to go to the bathroom or whatever, and we got the thing going on." They're like, "Yeah, he's fine."
that's great.
But yeah, I never scanned in. Yeah. So if you had anything for the furthest away, mine was never tallied. Did
No,
you
but you're
did you
messing
do
up
that
my
this
pin.
year? I never saw a map to put my little pin in.
We didn't. No, I didn't get a
Didn't
map.
have the map this year.
No. Uh, normally, Method Wheels talks to me about that beforehand, and we do it. And I totally.
Bastards.
It's not their fault. It's probably
No.
mine.
Yeah.
I can't remember who usually brings it up, but the last couple of years it's been, Method Wheels. Where you from?
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking for it and I was like, man, I didn't get to put my pin all the way over.
Oh,
All the way over there.
that's good. Next year it'll be.
Well, I'm here. I'll bring this up. I'll write all this stuff down.
Let's get one.
I'll go back and look at this, and we'll do the Nerf gun thing. We'll talk that. We'll revisit that because we put a pin in it, and then we'll make sure the map's back.
I'm getting one for Big Iron, and we'll have everybody push the pin, and then we'll auction it off. That'd be cool.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah, auction everything off.
Yeah. It's all going.
Yeah, I'm selling.
It all has to go. The pin that everybody signed up with, we're auctioning that off. Like there you go.
Give me
Who wants a pin?
Yeah.
Everybody here's touched it.
We did 50 in 4 years, and we're trying to do 50 this year. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I can't wait. It's going to be a good time. Dude, love you to death. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the community. Obviously, your business has gotten crazy. I'm so happy with all the success that you guys have gotten, that you've achieved. It's hard work. Maybe a little bit of luck that first year because we had no clue. We were just like, what in the world? Obviously, there was a need for it. So thank you for filling that, helping fill that need. So anyway, everybody out there, make sure that you go and check out the More website, the Big Iron Overland Rally website. Go check on that. Get your tickets for Big Iron. It's going to be a blast. I'll be there. I'll be yelling and screaming at everybody, introducing the bands, doing the auction stuff. Like that's so much fun being a part of that. And you've always got somebody doing the whole thing. So super fun. Everybody out there, thank you so much. I'm glad to be back. Make sure that you tune in. If you haven't checked it out, we've got a morning segment that we've been doing. It'll be for sure once a week when I can. You'll get bonus episodes during the week, but it's going to be a news and information weather report, fire reports for the week, so that if you're traveling anywhere in the United States to go overlanding, we're going to give you a heads up of things to check out for, different things like events that are going on. We're going to have that for you, but that'll be once a week. And then over at the All Over Overland Instagram page on Sundays, I've got rig wisdoms that come out on Instagram. I usually have at least 5, so it's a quote of the day for you. And sometimes they're pretty funny, and there's kind of an AI cartoon that goes with it. So some of them are funny, and some of them are just inspirational. So go check those out. And we are building up the Overland Radio again. There's an app. Make sure that you go get the app. It's free. So get that on there, and then that's a way that you can consume this every time we go live. Well, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate everything. Everybody out there, thank you for coming on. Chris, one last thing. Say bye to everybody.
Love you guys.
All right, guys. Whatever you do, make sure that you go all over.
Cheers, brother.